I'm a lady just like you.
I'm not your average girl.
It is tea time with the girls.
Where the session take it up a notch.
What's up, everybody? This is Tea Time with the girls, and as you see, we have the girls here. My name is Fox Giselle, and to my lovely right.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sophia Mara.
What's going down? It's your girl Milan Donati and Cupcake.
I'm Ashleen, as always.
I'm caitlyn.
And as you see, just like every episode, we're joined here with a whole new group of girls, along with my lovely co-host. So, one of the things that we want to talk about today is a very hot topic that has been in the news, and we want to talk about celebrities and their transition. You know, most likely, I would like to start off with Bruce Jenner and her transition to become a woman, and I wanted to know, what are you all's thoughts about that and how it affects us as a transgender community?
Well, I mean, is Bruce Jenner really becoming a transgender, or is that a rumor? Because
it's been reported by almost everyone, and he hasn't done anything to stop it. So,
Yeah, I feel like he hasn't come out to say I'm in transition,
but
So,
he hasn't come
right.
out to say that he's not in transition.
Yeah.
but anyone could say what they want. I mean, he does look feminine, so I
He's
mean,
wearing his hair in a high ponytail, getting his fingernails done. You know, she's got her Adam's apple shaved.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
She did get her Adam's apple shaved.
Maybe it's being documented right now. We don't know, and they're probably going to release like a reality show about, you know.
Well, that is true. That I think that he is doing a documentary based on her transition.
Honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and play devil's advocate. I don't think Bruce Jenner has business actually transitioning. I think he's most likely just doing it for the fame, maybe attention, and you know, everybody's just hyping it up more and more and more and more. And even Kim's gone on the record to, you know, sort of speak about how he's going through a journey, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, if you're gonna profit off of our struggle, like, you have no real business, you know, transitioning. I think it's a hawk of shit, and if you want to do it for the money, go ahead. You know, go and mess with something else and leave us alone.
I feel like I don't think he's doing it for the money, because he's not like that. That's more like Kris Jenner. She does stuff for the money. I feel like Bruce really probably feels like he was born a woman, and you know, he had to live a certain type of life because he was an Olympic winner or whatever he was, you know, for the lack of knowledge. But I know he was an award winner for the Olympics and stuff like that, and maybe he does feel like a woman, you know, and he feels like he lived his life enough as the man that now, I mean, it's a little too late, but hey, to each his own. I'm not going to judge, but it's like.
So what's the issue?
I just feel like
here at this moment about.
Well, see, there was one transgender advocate that came out and said that Bruce Jenner needs to come out and, you know, just say it already, because of the fact that she felt like Bruce Jenner was basically, just like Sophie over here said, was benefiting from the fame of it and milking it. I feel that as a transgender community, we don't really have the right to tell anyone, like, oh, well, you can't come out at this time, or, you know, this is going to affect us in any sort of way. That's just my personal opinion. Because I feel like everyone has to come out and transition in their own organic growth.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that there's a certain age cutoff where you feel that you can't transition. If you're 90 and you decide I really just need to live in my truth for the next 2 years of my life before I die, then you have that, you know, you have that rights to do so. You know, because I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
Because if people, okay, sorry, it made me lose my train of thought. You go ahead.
Oh, no. You on the roll here.
I think that all I feel like, okay, it's a different, I feel like it's completely different when you're not in the public eye. I feel like he hasn't been trending lately. You know, as of recently, you know, he has become a hot topic and everybody's looking at to what he's doing, but they pretty much kicked him off the show. You know, he wasn't on the show for quite some time. He was living on his own, doing his own thing. You know, I understand if you truly and genuinely are transitioning, you know, good for you. Nobody has any sort of, you know, appropriation of your life or whatever you want to say to tell you what you can and cannot do. But I feel like when you're in the media and you sort of have a responsibility to the community, if you quote unquote are part of the community, and I feel like the way that he's going about it is completely wrong. And didn't they just report that he just killed somebody in a car accident?
Well, it was an accident.
I mean, he's facing jail time regardless of, it's because of his apparent transition that he got into it. Somebody got hurt off of all the publications and him continuing to drag it on, and people feeling like they have to, follow him and try to discover his secret. Like,
well, then that's their business because that's their job. When you're a paparazzi, that's what you do. You know what I mean? So if they lost their life, that comes with their
it wasn't random bystander though. It wasn't like anybody. It was a woman in a car. She was the one that was hit by Bruce and she died.
Okay.
Well, what I understand is that she slammed on the brakes all of a sudden, and I've been, a safe driver. I can understand how that is like if someone slammed on the brakes all of a sudden and you have no way to basically, stop in enough time, you're gonna, by default, you're gonna slam into the person, and that's what happened. It was an accident. I'm not by any way taking up for Bruce Jenner or anything.
Well, he was on the phone too.
I'm sticking up.
That's already been proven.
That has been proven?
Yeah, apparently, from what I saw in the article, he's facing jail time because he was on the phone. They got
someone said that she
Okay,
was
the discussion is about him transitioning.
Yes, back on the transition.
Him about to go to jail because he accidentally killed, or whatever the case may be.
That has nothing to do with transition.
Right, it has nothing to do with.
I think that go to jail. I think
the reason why he waited so long to transition because he had a family. He was raised. He had 2 daughters. He has. I think he did it for
2 sons.
He waited till they were old enough until they could understand that was the road he's going to take. I think at this age now, Kylie and Kendall, they can understand that dad wants to be a woman.
But at the same
I think it was he was trying not to be selfish and
you have a point
he
there.
let them live their life to the point where they can understand.
But that's not.
And I think that if we're going to say that Bruce Jenner is trans, we should start giving her female pronouns and stop,
No,
I just feel like if Bruce really was trans, he would have thought about that before he even got with Chris, because wasn't he divorced from his wife for so long before he even got with Chris? So like you should have thought about your consequences as far as what you were, and I feel like it's very selfish that
he was
you
a
want to
public
transition
guy.
now.
He had to play this card where
but I feel
he's
like
this
it's
alpha male who gets all the ladies,
so
all
then
the
that's
women.
selfish. So you want to transition?
But he was just
to
playing the
like-
game. That's how you play the game. He was.
But this is not uncommon within trans women that are Caucasian.
Yeah.
I've met maybe like 15 trans women that were like 60 something, and they were just starting the process. When you go to
I know a professor.
you see, right?
I know a professor.
Right, me too.
That teaches at North California University that transitioned after she had kids.
Right.
And a wife. And she's still with the wife.
And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
A lot of, because the person that I met that was like, this was a while ago, and I respected it because it was just like, this is a professor. He makes all this money. He has all these degrees that you can't take.
Yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like in that situation, it was just that he transitioned into living his truth when he did.
Now, this is what I'll say I have a problem with the older transgender people that do that. I have a problem when you do transition after you've had your wife and your kids and you are in this well-established career, and then you want to look down on the other girls that are not like doing so well or saying, well, I have a job as a professor, and you have a job I did this, and
you wore disguise for the most of your life.
Yeah. And then you shouldn't be a sex worker because if I can do it and I can become a professor, and I'm transgender,
or
you can do it too.
I know a lot of successful people who had got good jobs being a gay male or living as a gay male, then they transition and they start saying, oh, well, I'm this, I'm that. But they got that job
came out
because
after
they
the
were,
job.
they were seen and hired as a gay man.
Can I say something? And this is just out of my life experiences. I've had phenomenal jobs in my transition. In fact, before the transition, I was like a bus company or some shit like that. Are we allowed to say these kinds of things?
Yes.
This is YouTube, girl.
Spill tea.
Okay, I wasn't sure, right? So I've had great jobs and I've been blessed. You know what I mean? So when I hear people with that excuse, or verse the trans girls that work versus the girls who work, well, you know what I mean, like work
Professionals
sex, right,
versus sex
or whatever.
workers.
I've never in my mind said, well, I'm looking down on you because this is what you do.
Yeah.
Because that was me just not so long ago.
Yeah. Okay, but some
And I'm
girls
not-
won't admit that.
No, see, this is when the girls get delusional. You know how when some girls try to feel it so much that they're women that you're forgetting that you have a penis, but I know. We all know. Like, you know what I mean? So I've never looked at it like, wow, why can't you be like me? This is just the path I decided to go for myself.
Yeah.
Within my and within my womanhood.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead.
Speaking about paths, wait, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, speaking about paths, we wanted to discuss our coming out trans stories. Basically, how we came out, or if we did come out, because some people, they live their life as for them, and they don't have to explain to no one. They don't have to come out to no one.
I would like to start off by saying that I came out 2 times. I know people are probably sitting at home wondering like, when the hell is she talking about? But I came out 2 times because of the fact that I basically told my parents at, 16 years old, like, hey mom, dad, by the way, I'm the only child, so, I told them like, by the way, I just want to let you know that I'm gay, okay? So by the age of 17, I came out to them again, like, you remember when I told you I was gay? Yeah, scratch that. I'm not gay. I'm actually a heterosexual transgender woman.
Look at God. On
So-
the tip of it, yes.
So yeah, that was how I came out twice. And being the only child, I think that they accepted it. But sometimes being the only child at the time, that may not be the case for everyone.
I was the only child also, and I felt like for me, it was like my mother, she's Spanish. My father is black and Philippine, but I was raised by my Spanish side. My mother said, if you want to be a woman, you be a woman outside this house. And that's how it's been. And she looks for me all the time. I just feel like you never wanted me in your house before. So the same tough love you gave me, I give that same tough love back. And it hurts and it makes me a little sad that I don't see them as much, but I feel like I don't want to be the gossip. I don't want to be the novela that, it's like in Spanish families, it's like a lot of people like to talk about other people and not worry about themselves. And I don't want to show up to family events and be, look at her or,
Topic of conversation.
Yeah, so I just kind of, it hurts me, but I just don't show up to events and functions. I'm in Ashley's world. That's it. That's it for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like Fox said, I did come out twice. I came out as gay at 13, and then I came out as trans when I was 15. And my mom just wasn't going to have it. She would throw out my makeup, and I would spend all of my lunch money that she would give me, and I'd buy makeup, and and I would go out, and at first I started doing kind of androgynous drag, and that was around the time when the scene was going around, so it was acceptable to have long hair and all that. And so I went through that phase, and then I just sort of was like, you know what, I have to step my cunt up, and I started just dressing as a female part-time outside of my house. And after I graduated high school, I put myself through cosmetology school, and I just moved to New York, and I just decided I need to do this full time. I want to transition. I've been on my own since then, and I pay for all my own bills. That doesn't mean that my family doesn't help me, but at the same time, they couldn't use the right pronouns, and so I chose that if I'm going to live my life the right way and I'm going to, be happy, then I'm going to choose my happiness over my family, and so I moved away.
Do you think that we could blame our families for not?
I don't blame them.
I think for them to see us as she, her, I think it's like a journey. It's not that easy.
It's not that easy because me and my mom went at it. And I know my mom supports me in every way that she can. My mom is my biggest supporter, but for 20-something years, she's been calling me by my original name, So there was the point in time where I went off on her, and I was in your car actually a few years ago. And
Is this how you came out to her?
No, I came out to my mom when I came out to my grandfather, because my grandfather was the only one I was really scared of, because he's real strict Filipino, but he was really accepting. And when I told him, I sat him down, I went back to California to visit my family. This is right after we shot that video that you did. And I said, Papa, I'm gonna sit you down. I have to tell you something. My heart was beating so fast. And he sat down, he's like, what? I'm like, I was, growing up, I was always kind of feminine and stuff. And he's like, okay. I'm like, well, I'm going to make a transition to become a girl. He's just like, okay, are you happy? I'm like, wow, that was the biggest pressure let off of my shoulders. And I felt so good. And then 2 minutes later, he's like, what you want to eat? I'll cook you. I love chicken adobo. That's a Filipino plate. And it's so good. And he made it for me. And he loves me even more. He calls me, Maman. And her, she, my granddaughter's so pretty. Like, he brags.
proper pronoun.
Yes, he does, and he brags about it. But my mom has the problem. Not no more, but I had to check her on it and not be disrespectful, but I kind of was. To her husband, she'll be like, he, or my old name. And one time I said, let me tell you something, Mom. Like, for a long time, I accepted every choice she made, because Mom she was a young mother. So there was things that I didn't agree with that she did, but I was always there to support her. So when she would call me by he or whatever, I told her, like, let me tell you something. Next time you say that, I'm going to cut you off for a few years. Like, I'm not going to talk to you because it's fucking with my mental. Like, but she doesn't, it's hard for her because she don't see me every day. She lives in California. I live in New York, so it's hard for her. You know what I'm saying? I've only seen her 3 times since I've transitioned. So it's like, she's accepting now. So thank you, Mom. I love you.
I also feel like you can't, I don't blame my parents for anything, and I wasn't angry. It was because your parents, when you spend your time and like you're in your mom's belly, like they have dreams for you, and they sort of have a life that they sort of plan in their head for you and how things are going to go. And when you come out as trans, you sort of completely shatter those those dreams and all these illusions that they had in their head. Yeah, their aspirations for you. And so when I was talking to my mom, it didn't take, my mom accepted me and started calling me Sophie the day that she came to New York and visited me, and they had the hardest time just even like saying she, this, and I was constantly checking my mom, and like to the point where I was crying on the phone, cussing her out. Like I was just sick and tired of it. Like, I can't deal with this. And I stopped talking to them for like about 2 months, and then they came down and visited me, and then it was just like, oh, hi Sophie. Like I would call my mom, like when she writes, she's on my Facebook, she'll write posts, and she'll have conversations about me and my relationship. Like she'll give me recipes, and like we have such a good relationship now. But it took time, and I FaceTime my mom all the time when I'm doing my makeup and whatnot, and so we're good now and we're best friends. But it takes distance, and it took me living my life and proving myself that I can. I was a spoiled brat. Like if you knew me back in the day, everybody would be like, oh, Sophie can't do this, Sophie can't do that, because of I was spoiled. I didn't know how to work. I learned how to do everything here in New York. So now that my mom sees that I've become a woman and that I'm self-sufficient and that I do things on my own, then she respects my choices.
So I think that it's very important to realize that like even though my parents were accepting of me immediately, I don't think that's gonna, obviously from the different stories, that's not the case across the board. And it does take time for each family member. I'm kind of curious to know how has your transition affected your family, Asia?
Okay,
how was your coming out story?
Before, I just never came out. It was never a discussion prior to when I used to identify myself as being a homosexual, or as when I started to transition. I'm the second oldest of 5, and my family's from the South and very religious. So growing up, it was just embedded in us that they just hate faggots. And
was this an African American household?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, and it was like hardcore. The walk that I have right now has been the walk since I started walking, which caused a lot of problems. So when I became a teenager,
your parents used to call you faggot?
Oh, everyone did.
My stepdad was like that, but your mom too?
When she felt some type of way. This is when I was really, really young. So when I became somewhere about 18 and 19, that's when that no ma'am attitude came, and it was just simply like, you know what? We grew up in such a way that you're my sister. This is what we were taught. I have to protect you, you have to protect me.
Yeah.
So I have brothers that are like real badass dudes. I'm talking about like, they go to jail every other day, they come out for 2 hours and they go right back. They're comfortable being back, so, and they've done all this other kind of thing. So if I can accept them and love on them without judgment, why can't you do the same for me?
But it's not them being comfortable being bad. That's who they are as a person. That's what they know.
Okay.
Just like you. This is what you know.
Right.
And the same thing, I have 2 little brothers. And one of them, he was in that fast life selling weed and getting into trouble. But ever since I transitioned, like, he's been one of the biggest supporters. Calls my sister.
They do.
Always lets me know, like, you're beautiful. Don't let nothing get you down. Don't ever settle. And he's younger than me. He always tells me never settle for less. And my little brother, he's 7. And he remembers when I was in California, and I was before this. And he asked my mom, he's like, did my sister used to be a And she had to sit down and explain to him, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. My sister's pretty. I love her." Like,
Right.
so I'm so grateful that I have 2 siblings that accept me and love me dearly.
Right.
You know, so
Right, but
awesome.
family, but for me, family is so important because if I didn't have the family I had, even the ugly, it just wouldn't have made me who I am at this very moment.
It develops you as a person.
Right. It developed me into a very strong woman. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that I can loan or duplicate all of my siblings for every last trans girl across the world because they're so supportive.
How many brothers do you have?
I have 4.
Sisters?
1.
Oh, and how does she treat you?
Perfect.
Oh, good.
They're so, like, when I'm not making this up, like, when I tell you, like, I never think for a minute that I'm even trans around my family. Because if you said something wrong, they're the ones who are going to correct you.
Do they use the proper pronouns with you?
Perfectly, yes.
Oh, good.
Now,
How long did it take them to do that?
just like that.
Oh, that's good.
Just like that. I never had a conversation, except my oldest brother. He was always in jail and he came out. And, you know, when he came out, I was giving, and he was just like, I don't know. And I said this to him one time. I said, if you can address me as the woman that I am, and this is for the whole entire family. I said it kind of collectively. This is it. We won't have to talk. You don't have to worry about me. You don't exist to me. Because I'm that type of girl. If I don't see it for you, you're dead. You're not living over there. You're just dead to me. You know what I mean? And we need each other. You know, both of my parents are deceased, and I've been the one, even when my mother was alive, to like raise my siblings. So after she died, they just pushed me into her position. So it's a different kind of relationship. These are my brothers. They see me as their older sister, but they also won't see me as their mom.
Where do you fall on the ladder? Are you the second oldest?
I'm the second oldest.
Oh.
But my oldest is always, I don't want to say that because I don't want him to see this and get offended. Okay. But
The firstborn?
the firstborn, he's just troubled. But what I'm saying is that I've only had that conversation with him, and then recently I seen him. I did this picture side by side of Whitney, like a tribute, and he was just like, "Sis, like you did that picture, like you know what I mean." And it's always love and it's always support. And any picture that I upload, they're always the first one to say, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, look at my sister." You know what I mean? So I really wish I can share that with people. But I will tell you this story.
Is that why you always tend to put on a lot of your pictures like fantasy fulfilled?
Fantasy fulfilled, because everything I do, it was a dream. It was a fantasy, and then now that I'm doing it, it's being fulfilled.
That is inspiring.
# fantasy fulfilled.
That's nice to hear.
You know what I mean? So I'm different, and I know that we all are different, but I refuse to fall into the same kind of category that the society puts us into.
Exactly.
Yes.
I know for me and Fox, we're both the only child. I'm the only child. And I think growing up, I was always a woman in my mind. I never could act on it. So once I left home, I was just the biggest diva. Like, it was just years of suppressing my feminine side because I was trying to be something for other people. And I had the same situation. My mother would find my female clothes, my makeup, throw it out, and then she would say, if you want to be a bitch in the street, be a bitch outside. It was a long road to be stable. It was not just 1, 2, 3, okay, I'm fab, everything's over. It was never like that for me.
I just want to know from how many of you girls went through this, but I remember as early as my 12th birthday, I remember that I had to buy like wigs and everything like that. And I want to know if I'm only the one that experiences, but I remember taking t-shirts and putting them on my head.
Oh yes. From this part, right?
And basically just flinging it around.
Feeling it, yeah.
And I remember one time my father saw me with that and he said, "Take that goddamn shit off your head." I'm just like,
I used to have my mother's shirt.
Yeah. And I used to put it up in ponytails.
Yes,
too.
and I used to have one of her shirts and I would cinch it with her belt.
Yes.
I'm talking about may have been like 6 years old when I tell you I was the only woman in my head that no one else saw at that moment. But when I put that shirt on my head, it was the mane of all manes.
Yes, it
and
was.
when you felt it this way and you felt it that way, it was just awesome.
Yes.
My mom,
It was so awesome.
my mom actually had wigs, and she had ponytails and all. And so me and my younger brother, who's actually gay, he's a drag queen, and we used to play Titanic, and we were both be Rose, and I'm not even joking. My mom had like a hot tub style bath, and so we used to get in there and we'd be like, Jack, And we used to dress up in my mom's clothes, and my older brother would dress up in my dad's clothes. He was very masculine and macho, and we would always just have the best time, like, dressing up, and my brothers didn't care, like, and I could just always be myself with my brothers. Like, we grew up together, like, really close-knit, and my brothers are animals. When I'm saying, like, they're so overprotective, like,
isn't it an awesome feeling?
They're like lions. Like, I remember my brother used to get into fights every single day at school when people would pick on me, because in high school they would pick on me because they thought that I was a woman transitioning to be a male. And so I got picked on, like, really cruelly. I had people pick up my shirts. I had people pull me in the girls' bathroom trying to take off my pants. Just some craziness. And my older brother, like, he would protect me so much, like, fight people. My brother even got a gun pulled out on him when we were at the bus because they were trying to shoot me.
What?
Wow.
And
Strong. But I'm sorry, because I wanted to finish about how, see, for me, I had already been in my first apartment since I was 17. So transitioning didn't, like, anyone's approval didn't really matter. You know what I mean? I'm already living in my own home. What are you going to say? I can't do it? You know what I mean? Like, are you really going to tell me I can't do it?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. But I will tell you that my mother, we had this one good conversation. I was sitting over there. Mind you, I moved maybe like 4 blocks away, which means I still went there every day to eat, so on and so forth. So we were talking, and she was just like, listen, you have so many strikes against you in this world. You have it worse than all of my kids. Word for word what she said. She said, for one, you're a black man, right? She said, 2, you are a gay man. And now 3, now you're becoming a woman. That's when she got into the whole, well, your hair needs to be polished. Your nails, this is her exact word. She said, your hands fall really heavy. Always have them, like, manicured and nails and so on and so forth.
I can see you got a nice set right now. I was looking at your pearls.
Oh yeah, no matter what I'm going through in life, my nails are done.
Speech, like, if you're gonna do it, don't have
That's
stuff.
right. And all of the women from the generation before me were all saying the same thing. Well, come here, let me show you how you style this wig, because that's not it right there. You know what I mean? And if you know,
because that's a representation of us,
right?
Family.
And that was she was saying. She was like, the first thing people notice about you, no matter who you are, is your hair, is your crown. It needs to always be polished, bottom line. Your clothes need to be clean. You need to always be done, because within what you consider being done. Like, you know what I mean? Because people are just going to give you a problem. And I just remember that every single day. This is why I'm so hard on keeping myself together.
That was my mom. She told me that if you're going to do anything in life, you have to do it with dignity. And she gave me, just like your mom gave my mom gave me a huge speech on, just how I have to have dignity, how I can't let anybody bring me down. I better stick up for myself, and just don't embarrass the family by being caught up in prostitution or X, Y, and Z, and getting a record. And I feel like that's why my parents really do accept me, is because out of all of my cousins, you can sit there and call me a faggot and say that I'm living the life with the devil, but I've never been to jail. I've never had a DWI. I've never done any sort of craziness.
But what's the point of comparing you be living in your truth to like the worst shit in the world? That's outrageous.
Because a lot of my cousins will sit there and criticize me, but I'm like, I am 23 years old, and you guys had kids since you were 15. And you can't even afford to pay rent, but yet I'm paying $1,500 for an apartment.
So basically,
but if I didn't have kids at 15, I would have had 2 kids by 17. That's the real truth.
I would have had at least 5.
So yeah,
I would have had at least 5.
But I feel what you're saying.
because they sit there and they try to make fun or try to make me feel like I'm a fucking monster because I'm living my truth. Yet you live your truth and you're a teen mom and you can't even afford to bathe your kids, or buy them new clothes, or keep them in a heated home. So that's like not my problem. I'm sorry that I decided to live in my truth, and maybe if you had lived in your truth, you wouldn't be in the place that you are now.
The thing is that people don't understand that we're humans. I always say this: we're humans first, just like everybody else. There's
you cut me, I'm gonna bleed just the way
But a lot of people are so naive to the fact what a transgender really is. So because they're naive to it, anything that someone doesn't know, they're gonna think crazy about it. Oh, you're they're gonna think crazy shit like you're psycho in the head, or you probably
You're
been
a child
molested.
molester.
I've never,
Right, that's
been
like my pastor, my bishop. You know, something had to happen. Sir, no, it didn't.
Nothing happened.
Actually,
I just feel like a woman, honey. And then I try to explain this to people. I'm like, let me tell you something. People, we don't ask for this garbage.
No, if I could have been on board,
Like, we don't ask for this garbage.
I did not want to wake up and go through the shit that I went through. I went through harassment, getting into fights,
the worst.
just crazy stuff. Being who I am. This is who we are. We are human beings first, honey. We take very good care of ourselves. And the regular people out there, I see how dirty y'all give it up, honey. And we're doing pretty good for ourselves. So don't judge us because we're trans women. If anything, we're doing it better than a lot of people.
No, hold on, honey. They can judge.
Well, they're gonna judge.
Because we judge.
Yeah.
You understand? And you're entitled to that. Because I'm entitled to that however I want to feel. And so are you. So let them feel it.
Yeah.
Just don't come for me. So it's simple. So it's just that simple.
Sophie, you want to say something?
I just feel like going back on what you guys were talking about. I think what really shifted my transition and my mentality in my head was like when I was about, I want to say, I think I was like 13, and my grandmother actually came into, I was staying at my grandmother's house at the time, and she comes in and she brings me food and she sat me down and she's just like, oh, you know, it's okay if you were molested, just tell me who did it. And I'm going to accept you for who you are, and I'm going to accept whatever you do. And in my head, I was just like, why do I have to be molested for you to accept me? And in that very moment, like, my heart just broke. And I remember I called my mom and I was just like, this and this just happened. And that's the very moment that I decided I'm never going to ask for anybody's permission to do anything. I'm going to do it. And if you can't accept it, then you don't belong in my life. I said that to my mother too. I told her, I was like, you know what? There's going to come a time in my life where I'm going to move away to New York and I'm not going to see you for a long time. And if you decide that you can see me for who I am and that you can accept me, then I will accept you into my life. And you know what? It took my mom a year and a half for me and her to really get together. She came and she brought me everything that I needed for my apartment. She brought me a microwave, dishes. She recently just bought me a couch, a TV. Just to set me,
being a mother,
you know, because she could accept me and she could finally see me in my truth.
Yes.
And so, for any of you out there that are going through this and are planning to transition, my biggest advice is don't make your transition your biggest. Don't make that your only goal. That's where I am right now, and I made a video on my channel speaking about this, and I wish I wouldn't have dropped out of school, and I wish that I had planned ahead, and. Even though I'm coming towards the end of a chapter in my transition, I now see myself as, an amazing individual who shouldn't have made my entire life about transitioning, because there's way more things that make me, Sophie. So I feel like you guys should just, plan your transition, take the proper steps, do whatever you have to do at the end of the day. If you have to go and make a coin, do that. It's all about you surviving and doing what you have to do.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we are going to go to our new segment right now, which is called Ask Crystal. So we're going to take it back to Crystal, and we'll be right back to finish off with some tea time with the girls.
Hi everybody, I'm Crystal, and I'm sick of you bitches already inboxing me and asking me questions. So today I'm gonna give it to you how you just like you want it raw. Okay? Well, the first letter I got is, Dear Crystal, I am 72 years old, veteran, and I want to transition. Is it too late? Are you fucking kidding me? You're 72 years old and now you think about transitioning? You should have transitioned when you probably was like 10 fucking years old, idiot. Dear Crystal, oh, okay. I am down low, very masculine guy, and my friend found Shino porn on my iPhone. He is spreading rumors about what? About me. What should I do? Holy cow, you're fucked. Your wife is gonna know, your mama's gonna know, your parents gonna know, everybody's gonna know, your whole generation. You're fucked. Just might as well just keep watching porn and fuck it. Just say that it wasn't you. Next, Dear Crystal, what are the tips to not getting spooked? Really? Really? What are the tips not getting spooked? If you look clockable, honey, there ain't no answer to answer this. Dear Crystal, my girlfriend Sophie is fucking cunt. When she is on hormones, she's such a fucking bitch. Oh my god. What should I do? It depends what type of man you are, how you treat her. If she's cunt, okay, that's good. If she's on hormones, you should walk with her to the doctor. Ask the doctor what's the side effects, because sometimes the men are the side effect, you know, because in order for a girl to go crazy, if you're an asshole, maybe this is why she's acting like a bitch, okay? So, next question. How do I douche correctly and stay clean? Oh my god. First of all, you don't fucking eat, bitch. Number 2, you don't eat and you wear a girdle and you douche after 5 o'clock if you just ate, okay? If you don't know how to douche, go to www.howdoidouchemyass.com, bitch. Thanks, bye, love you.
Before we go into the next subject, Milan had something that she wanted to say.
Well, no, I was just wanting to like roll off of what Sophie was saying. To the young girls out there, because I know we have a lot of young viewers that are still in high school and stuff, and just really don't make your transition your only focus. Stay in school, because if I could go back, I would really focus on school and plan for college, because that's so important. And right now, I'm still struggling because of my past failures. So if you're in high school, really focus on that, because that will help you in your transition. Build, you know, have goals and really try to attain those goals, and surround yourself with good people. That's another mistake that I made, was being around negative people. If you know someone doesn't have good intentions for you, stay away. Chop them out of your life, because you
Or
just
do what your shirt says. What does your shirt say?
keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Just trust your gut. That's
But I
number
feel
one.
like it's not really that easy to just stay in school. A lot of people that are transitioning at those teen years, they're going through identity crisis.
Listen, in school, I dropped out of school.
Dropped out of school
because I had to
because
fight all the time.
I was dealing with a life identity. I thought that there was no other way. I thought that I never knew what trans was. I think the younger community now, they're so, they
Listen.
have so many girls to look up to, I think.
I feel like I want to
do
do a lawsuit against Russell Middle School in Milpitas, California, because I had some guy get my picture. He made like 100 copies on white paper and wrote faggot, cocksucker, bitch, queer all over it, and posted it all over the school. I remember walking out of my class and that happened. I gagged, I cried, I went hysterical, and I went to 9th grade and I did 10th grade, and I said, you know what, fuck this. I was always fighting in class, fighting in PE class, I fought in Mr. DeMond's class, like constantly fighting these
If you don't mind me
boys.
asking, how old are you?
I'm in my late 20s.
Okay.
But
And she didn't put your phone number?
who? No, he didn't have my phone number. At that time, I had a beeper at that time. I didn't have a cell phone.
Oh,
but,
you were in your age show.
okay. So, but
beeper.
anyways, all those people that did harass me, it made me who I am today, because I take no bullshit. I mean, I'm very respectful. I know who I am, and people treat others less than because they don't know their value. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, you know, shout out to all the little girls out there in school. Stay strong and
Another option too is getting your GED. You should look into that. If you're getting that harassed in school, you should look into getting your GED.
Or even if the girls do transition and get their surge, you can still go back to school. It's never too late to go back to school. You know, you can do that in time and go back. You want to get surged out, go back as a female. Because there's some girls that dropped out of school when they were living as a male. And then they transition and then they feel like, okay, what can I do now?
See, I can't like understand it, because I finished school.
I finished school too.
You know, and I finished school, and my transition didn't come from years later. Like, you know what I mean? I think my transition came in when I may have been already on like my 3rd job, second apartment.
But you know what it is?
Right.
I think it is that I think when we were growing up, we had tough skin, and we had to develop tough skin because, you know, these kids coming up nowadays, they have like social media that's part of their high school life.
I had no one to talk to. I was alone. I was
Twitter.
a very
I think it's also too
emotional person growing up. I was such a girl. I was a girly girl trapped in a boy's body for so long that I began writing. I began taking it to poetry and writing songs. And when I saw your videos, I was like, on YouTube, I was like, oh my God, I'm surprised you didn't see her now, but I'm always like that. But I try to be strong, but it's not easy. I hear so many success stories, girls who, like, I commend you for all the, you know, the fact that you finished school and all that, but it's not everyone has it, that has family that support them. There's so many girls that they're alone and they're sitting in hotels suicidal. There's so many girls that
Well, I'm sure if
their
I
stories
had
not shared.
transitioned, if I was in transition, then
Yeah.
I would have been, I'm sure of it. You know, the story
probably
would be
would
the
have finished,
same.
yeah.
Like, you know, it would have been the same outcome.
It's
also-
Like, you know what I mean? So,
It's also
So you put it aside.
it wasn't even that, I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I just thought this was just my level of being gay. Like, you know, we've all at some point was just
Yeah.
identify ourselves as homosexual.
Even when I
until you
transitioned
learn.
in high school, and you know, I just looked at myself as being like a woman trapped inside of a gay boy's body, and I still identified as gay, even though at the time I didn't know I was, but I was pretty much like in full transition because I was wearing women's clothes and, you know, coming to school in high heels and stuff like that.
I think it has to do with also the environment that you're exposed to, because I feel like a lot of the trans women here in New York are a lot tougher than the trans women back home. You know,
You
you're
become- New York can
exposed.
really make you.
You're
Oh, yeah.
exposed.
New York
you're
can make
exposed
you
to
a
so
really
much.
tough.
Very
You're
jaded. I
exposed
become
to
very
so
jaded.
much, and even,
Yeah,
and even
you
the
learn.
shitty
You'll
trans
learn.
women that I've seen here
You'll be a
are
tough
far better
protest.
than the shittier trans women, you know, back home that, you know, do all this grimy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you from again?
I'm from New Mexico, and so I, growing up, was picked on, you know, in my community, and I was made to feel really shitty. You know, nobody would help me when I was trying to figure out what I was and what it meant to be trans, and, you know, really discover this part of myself. A lot of the trans community completely shut me out. You know, they wouldn't give me information on anything. I remember I went to the doctor in my high school, and I spoke to her, and I was literally like crying, and I was like, I think there's something wrong with me, you know, I think I'm going crazy. And she's the one that, you know, showed me, you know, pamphlets and information on like what it is to be trans, and like, you know, gave me the resources, you know, because the community won't help you. And it's sort of what you're exposed to and how fast you grow up, and that's sort of what that's sort of like what guides the mentality and sort of where you start off your transition.
I was gonna say we spoke about this earlier, a lot of girls have a ballroom mentality. Everyone wants to be Beyonce, everyone wants to be, you know, a diva, a queen, and we
Nobody
don't put
wants
our
to be
egos
Michelle
aside.
Williams.
And I
Nobody
in
wants
my
to be Kelly
transition,
Rowland.
I wanted to be a better version of myself.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's like when you want help, it's like, who do you turn to? The girls.
Because the girls are not transitioning to be women anymore. The look is to look like transsexuals, or femme queens, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
That's
Or
the look.
surged out girls.
Or surged out girl. And you were like, wow, you are sitting, but you don't look like a woman.
You got females that are transitioning, looking like transsexuals.
Yes.
And before we get too much off into the next subject, I wanted to bring up the last topic that we're going to talk about, which was trans murders, because I think it's very on topic of what we were talking about, you know, as far as like not having the proper support system. In our last episode, we talked a little bit about the trans murders that's been going on, you know, throughout the nation.
Since the whole season, 2 seasons in,
Yeah,
I
we've
think
been
there's
talking
been probably over 50 murders.
Yeah.
Since we started
Probably
the
some
show.
of the girls that even watched the show have been murdered.
Which is so sad.
That's
Let's talk about this then, please.
Yeah.
Because you know I'm already ready for it.
okay.
I
Yeah,
knew
I
one
have-
of the girls that was murdered.
You knew a girl that was murdered?
Yeah, a lot. Isla. I went to group with her. We all went to the same transgender group. We all got our hormones around the same time. We all started transitioning around
Is that
the
the
same.
group that I was going to visited you in?
Yeah, I know I've heard stories from one of the girls that was there, and
Was she over there when I was there?
Who?
Islam?
No, that was way before that, or I mean way after that. But I've heard stories about what happened, and that sort of just really changed my mentality, because that's scary. And when you really, really think about, and when it affects you, when you really know somebody, it's different when you read about it, but when you really know somebody and you're going to group. I went to the group with her for about a year. I knew her, you know, I didn't really like hang out with her, but you know, I had her number. We text every once in a while. She planned to come to a few of the parties that I was, you know, at the time going to, and it's completely different when it sort of hits close to home, because you're in such a routine of seeing these people, and a lot of what was portrayed in the media was completely fake.
Okay, however, whatever they portray, because I'm ready to talk about it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Spiel, girl.
Right. When this happened, I had just moved to Harlem.
The Islam Nettles came?
Just moved there.
That's what
not
happened in
even
Harlem.
not even within 7 blocks from there. Now, I've always been a girl with some pepper spray. At the time, I had a taser. Right. I had a taser. When that happened, and I'm a pretty tough girl. Like, I'm not going to be a victim. You're not going to beat me up. You're not going to say what you want to say to me without me feeling if I need to protect myself and doing so. So I had my taser. When that happened, I said, wait a minute. Because I haven't heard this shit happening, and I just haven't heard of it. I've heard stories from the trans girls before me, but not necessarily I witnessed it. So I got really nervous because now I'm moving into a new place. I don't know anyone here. No one knows me. Am I the next girl? So I was on my way to work one morning, but the taser, I don't know if it wasn't charged. So I said, well, what do I do? Because the mace is just, I've seen people, get mace and keep going.
Yeah.
So I said, I need something that's going to take a bitch out. So that's why. This is when I started carrying this motherfucker.
Okay. I know that's right.
This is when I started carrying this motherfucker. Because let me tell you, let me get up, because I really got to get into this, okay? You can see me good? Okay, let me tell you something. You come for me in any type of way I don't like. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
As you heard, the girls are
because let me tell you something. I'm
They're
tired.
ready to hammer you down.
Exactly. What I'm tired
We're
is...
tired. We're tired.
Right, we're tired. I'm tired of logging on to social media and reading about... I think you may post this stuff like almost every day. And I'm just so sick of it. I'm like, oh, another R&B, what is it, RIP or, oh, da-da-da. I'm just like, another girl? Why are we such victims?
Let's not be so real.
That's where I don't think we're all victims. I think some of the girls that have been murdered, I'm not saying that they deserve it, but they bring it upon themselves.
Not all.
I don't think so.
Let me tell you something. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were cool up until that point. Okay? Because the bottom line is this, no matter how he feels about her or however, honey, no one deserves to get murdered.
That's what I'm saying.
Bottom line. If I'm not your type of girl, then it's okay for you to curse me out and keep going.
But some people don't keep it moving. Some people are not, they can't just let it go. They see you, they could be attracted to you, they clock, they got a gun, boom. It could be as simple as that. Your hammer can't come against that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So
but if you're gonna fight me, we're gonna fight. As trans women, we just want to feel our ultimate femininity. We want to feel our ultimate woman.
But let me tell you something. They're getting shot. They're not getting beat up. Islam was beat up, but most of the other girls, they're being shot.
I always encourage girls, and I said this in the last episode, that if you are in a state where you can register for a firearm, do it.
I'm on that path.
I have a girlfriend in Cincinnati that registered, and she's a registered firearm holder.
I'm on that path.
Yeah.
Trust.
Because I may give you a warning shot or two, and I told you I come from a family that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So at some point I've had a gun in my purse. Right. I had to call my brother and say, you need to come get this because I'm walking to the store just to start trouble. You look at me the wrong way. I was just going to
hammer happy.
Right.
New York does that to you.
Right.
New York will do that to you.
Right.
Everyone's starting.
Right. All jokes aside.
You want to try it?
Right.
You want to try it?
Right. I'm catching eye contact with everyone. I want you to spook me. Please spook me. I want you to spook me just so that I can carry on like this.
You be trigger happy. That's what they call trigger happy.
That's why I told them, I said, you gotta come get this gun. You gotta come get it. Because this is going to land me in jail for a very long time. Because I'm just so sick of people feeling like they have, what's the word I'm looking for?
Power over us?
Not even power.
Have the right to judge.
The right to say what they want to say. You know what I mean? I almost feel like they feel privileged to let you know that you're a man.
But you know what? I've said this.
I've
said this before. Us as trans women, I compare it to black people in the 1950s and the 1940s, because I come from the South too, and I remember when my grandfather told me one time that he was sitting at a restaurant and he remembered that a white person came and spit in his food and said, "You fucking nigger," and dared him to do something. And there was a whole, he was the only black person in the whole restaurant. Had he had done something, he probably wouldn't have been alive to tell me the story. But I'm just saying, I kind of compare that to this now.
But what I can say
we are
is
the
that
minority.
What I've noticed is a lot of, I love my black, I'm half black. It's mainly, it has always usually been the black community that
our urban
hates
community
us and that kill us. And it's like,
I have to agree with that because in the news lately it's girls' boyfriends, and I've seen white guys do it. It's everybody.
But usually, if a
But I
girl's
hear
being
that a lot.
bullied or harassed, it's usually from a guy in the urban community.
I mean,
I think
I don't really deal with
I don't
black.
justify-
Black guys don't do that. Like, I get judged mostly by like Spanish guys.
I don't
I
condone
never
the
did that.
murders or
Yeah.
anything,
Try
but
it.
I guess everybody is different. 'Cause I
Sometimes-
usually.
Sometimes they say you get it from the worst from your own race.
From your own, yeah.
Because your own race knows what, a biological female
Yeah.
looks like, so they will be quicker to point you out. Because I've been in situations where I can go to a white neighborhood, nobody say anything. Spanish neighborhood, nobody say nothing.
Mostly it's Spanish girls in my
Chinese
neighborhood.
neighborhood, nobody say nothing. As soon as I step foot in that black neighborhood, hey, that's a nigga. That's a nigga right there. And they want to say it loud so everyone can hear.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can I please tell this story?
Yeah.
It's totally a drunken moment. And I hadn't pulled one of these stunts in maybe like 12 years.
Okay.
Please don't judge me. Is this the no judge zone?
No
Because
judge
I can keep my story.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this was the day after Christmas. I went to a dinner in New Jersey.
Christmas 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. I had to think about it. I'm like, yes, this is that recent. So, it's one of those house parties, which means there's a whole bunch of free food and free liquor. Mm-hmm. I'm not a girl who drinks, but when it's free, you go ahead and get your life. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm throwing it back like I know what I'm doing. I'm I'm throwing it back. So, long story short, on that part, it's time to go home. My friends dropped me off in Times Square. I get on the one train and I head uptown. And there was this, I'm walking past, and the only thing that I can think of is holding on to everything so I don't fall and bust my ass. That's how drunk I am. I'm like holding on to every car, everything. So I get over to, like, let's say if I'm here, my door's right there, and I'm, trying to convince myself, like, you just got this little space right here, girl, and you're home. Go inside and pass out, but you're almost there. So this dude is coming down the street, and I've seen him around the corner before because in that part of Harlem, they just sit out on the street all day long. When I came, I would get off of work at 1, make it uptown like
You go
about
to
2.
London, Paris, to the same
Right,
guy
and they
was
would they would still be there. And if I got up the next morning and went down to McDonald's for my breakfast, like I would do every morning, they would still be outside. I'm like, do you Negroes go in? Do y'all sleep? So this is one particular guy's now, and I hope I don't offend anyone. I am just not into Spanish men at all, and that's where I live. That's where there are no black boys whatsoever. So when I walk down the street, I'm going to where I'm going to because I'm just not interested. You know what I mean? So if you're looking at me, it's natural for me to look at you back just because I'm a troublemaker secretly. So what do you want to do? So this one particular boy, out of them all, he was cute. The one in my mind was like, oh, he's cute. Not my type, but you're beautiful. You're not my type, but I can say that you're beautiful. I can say that you're good looking. It takes maturity, honey. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. As I'm standing and holding onto that fence, this dude comes down. And he had said something to me maybe like 2 weeks prior. But I didn't respond at first because I'm like, we don't talk. I've been here almost 2 years. We don't speak. And I pass you every single day. So I'm turning around like, is this someone else? He was like, no, I'm talking to you. What's up? So I'm like, I'm good. So I keep walking. So back to the day after Christmas. So I'm standing there. He's coming this way. And he was just like, I got to reenact this shit good. He was like, it was good. And I'm like, hi. You know who I am? I said, no. I mean, I know you stand around the corner. When I tell you, because this was a drunken moment, because I hadn't been sober, it wouldn't have had gone this far. He was like, I don't know what type of shit you got on in your mind. I think a few weeks you think you and I had a moment or something. But nah, I'm not fucking gay, my nigga. I was just like, okay. I'm talking to you man to man. Nigga to nigga. I swear to God, I'm not making this story out. And he's going off like loud.
So basically he was checking you out and then wanted to talk to you and call you out for you. Supposedly he thought that you were checking him out, but he was really checking you out.
Right. But I was too drunk to figure this out at the moment. You know what I mean? Because had I been sober, I would just simply say, "Sir, having a good night."
Reverse psychology.
Or I would have been ready. I didn't feel at all threatened though. I'm standing there. Clearly, you got some shit to say, so I'm gonna let you get off your chest. And it was 15 minutes of him losing his mind about how straight he was. And I'm just like, so as he's talking, I said, maybe you got the wrong idea because I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about you. So you're not even my type. Oh, that's good. I don't even like Spanish boys. In fact, I like really black. I'm talking about like black. African black. Oh, that's good, because I got a big dick.
Excuse me.
Okay. So I'm like, but that kind of went over my head. I'm drunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's still talking. He felt comfortable to sit his ass on my stoop with his newspaper and his coffee to finish talking shit to me. But all of a sudden it just got really weird. He was just like, yo, you live right here. I live on the first floor. How do you know where I live? I don't even know your name. And then he started bringing up conversation about my husband, and it was just like, you know a lot about me, and you don't exist in my world. So, long story short, he kept going on about more and more about how straight he is, and I just kind of, at that one moment you're trying to sober up, like, you know what, I've entertained you long enough, I'm going in.
How long were you out there for?
Probably like 15-20 minutes.
I wouldn't even give him 10.
But it was more of because I was so wasted that I couldn't move. Like,
But sometimes guys take out their sexual frustration by coming at you sideways.
oh wait, but I'm not finished my
Okay.
story.
Go
No
ahead.
judgment, right?
No judgment.
Oh my god, the world was totally gonna judge me.
You had him. You ended up having?
Shut up.
Let me find out she ended up having. Go ahead, keep going.
Anyways,
No. I wanna hear this story.
No,
Don't cut
you
this
started.
short. I want to
You gotta
hear what
finish
she
this,
has
girl.
to say.
So, I'm getting sweaty now. So I was like, I'm going in, you have a good night. As I was going up the stairs, he was like, I'm ringing your buzzer. So I went inside like, whatever. I'm starting to get undressed because now I'm home, drinking some water or whatever the case may be. He sure did. It was like 15 minutes later, he was just buzzing the buzzers. And I'm looking out the window like, this Negro is still here. He's serious. Someone must have let him in because he was at my door.
He knew where you lived?
He told me where I lived outside.
Yeah, he's been watching you.
He's been watching me.
Pay attention to the people that are watching you. That's my motto.
Yes, he knocked on the door. I said, do you need to go home? But I'm still a little wasted.
He was a Marcos girl.
So
some guys they don't take rejection well.
No, but that's fine.
And then
I didn't reject him. He just cursed me out. There was no flirtation. Like, I mean, you cursed me out in a way I don't even tolerate from anybody.
Okay.
Had I been sober, it wouldn't have gone down that way at all. So I opened the door because now, the people in my building, they're not apartments, they're condos, co-ops. They're co-ops and everyone owns them. So it's a very, they put a letter under my door and said my music was too loud and my lovemaking was too loud. So it's not that kind of it's not that kind of a place where you could just show up and be ratchet. So he's outside and he's doing all this talk. So I open the door like, what the hell? So he comes in and then all of a sudden he just got weird, like really weird, and he's like checking me out and I'm not saying anything to him. And he's like, what, are you nervous? I'm like, I'm just trying to figure why you're in my living room. You were just telling me how straight you are. Long story short, we did wind up.
Well, did he have a big dick like he said?
No, he did not. So this is how I fuck with these niggas, okay? No, he did not. But the part that
You a guy. You a catfish. He basically sold you something. Is that why you did it, or you just was drunk? That's why.
it was a drunken moment because I'm thoroughly not attracted to men that look like him. Like I'm talking about, like I don't care. You can, and I'm only into big penises, but you can. He could have had a big penis. He's just not my type. So we were in the room. And it was interesting how aggressive he was outside, and then all of a sudden he just turned into this gigantic, mushy teddy bear. Oh, mommy, you're so beautiful. Every time I see you. and I was just like, I started to feel bad for him and people like that in the world. Because the things he was whispering in my ear, this man is trapped in a way that he can never,
Get out.
ever live in a truth of happiness. So I started to feel really bad for him and really bad for people. So he'd stay the night and it was just weird. It was a night of him like doing major cuddling and stuff like that. And then, as the morning came, it was just like, okay, let me get you to the door.
You just said that he was just saying how straight he was. Because we've talked about this plenty of times. Do you think that men that sleep with trans women, do you think they categorize as gay or straight?
I think if you're going to deal with me, I need you to identify yourself as a heterosexual man.
Exactly.
I've never dated, even before my transition, I've just never dated a gay man before. It's just never been my thing. Even if you got your eyebrows tweaked, cleaned up, I'm not interested. I'm just saying that this is how much of a man I need you to be. So it was just how he saw things. And in his mind, this is his struggles.
Yeah.
I think that's also the biggest issue when you're when you label men who are into trans women, that they start to get offended and that they really start to feel attacked, and I feel like that's sort of what leads to some of these murders.
I
These
agree.
men
I agree.
get so scared and so feared that they feel like, oh, I have to kill this person just
they're-
so that
sometimes they're in love with them.
I'm seen as a macho or so that they put the blame on us as if we did the trickery. And I understand that there's sometimes trans women who do pull pussy stunts, and I don't agree with that at all. I feel like that's just something.
You playing with fire, girl.
I just feel like sometimes, you know, in my truth, that's how I met my boyfriend. I told him flat out.
What did I
No.
No, because they're staring at
All right,
me.
so
Oh, you be pulling those stunts?
I
You pull them. You pull them.
No, I told
look like you pull them,
listen.
Do you feel since all like the girls are dropping like that, do you feel like you go about it differently now? Because we asked
I'm gonna be
another girl,
honest,
another
like, I haven't
episode.
had sex in so long, and I'm back with my first boyfriend, and you know we've been on and off for 6 years already. So I haven't had sex. I don't mean to pussy stuff, but when I meet people again, I don't be like, hey, what's up? I'm Milan. I'm transgender. It's just what's up? I'm Milan.
Yeah.
If you're not fucking me and I'm not sucking your dick, you don't need to know what's in my pants.
Okay, that's fine.
We made a breakthrough.
I
Season 2 Milan has arrived.
No,
It's
because
different from season 1 Milan.
a lot of people ask me how my relationship is so successful and how I've managed to keep my boyfriend for so long is the simple fact that I was honest from the beginning. I met my boyfriend off of OkCupid. I'm being so serious. OkCupid. I was literally bored out of my mind. And when I first got here, that's how I was getting fed. I was like, I'm not about to spend my money on going out to eat. So I was like, you know what? I'm about to go on all sorts of dates. I literally got on every single dating website. And I made sure that in my profile it said that I am transgender. So that I wasn't dealing with these losers who are going to waste my time or just want to fuck me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm only in it for a meal. You know, or just, or not to, I'm being very serious. Like, it was to get a meal, or it was to do things in the city, because being in New York, it's really expensive. You know, I was 20 at the time. I was like, I have to get a job, I have to do this. And I was spending all of my money on going out and partying. So I figured, like, I might as well just, and when I finally met my boyfriend, I was very honest with him. Funny enough, I met my boyfriend when I was on a date with somebody else. You know,
Wow.
so it was just like,
It was
Okay,
scandal.
right.
A secret
so it was,
scandal.
but as long as,
Looking like Ricky Lake over there.
no, but see, I was open about it. I was open about me being trans, and I feel like
realness. Sorry, go ahead.
no, but see, it was because I was honest, and I let them know right away that I was trans, and that they had an option of whether they wanted to engage or not. And I feel like a lot of trans women who pull pussy stunts don't give them that option. You're not allowing them to see you in your truth and pick and choose
I agree.
whether they want to spend money on you or not, because money, you go out and you spend and you work and bust your ass for
That's
money.
true though.
So it's gonna make them mad.
I went on a date with a guy, and he didn't know team. So we're talking or whatever, and I had this was a while back, like a few years ago, and he took me on a date, took me to the movies, took me out to eat, and then like 2 dates later, I told him I'm a trans woman. He's like, what the fuck? You made me waste all my money on you?
Exactly, because money's valuable to
I
them.
gagged. But
Well,
whatever.
like for me personally, I need you to enjoy me in all my glory. I need you to appreciate that I was born physically a boy.
And all.
And that we look
And
magnificent
everything,
and amazing.
because I think we all look like fucking women.
I like
in
it
different
too
shapes.
because of the fact that, and I think you can agree here. I like to know that you appreciate me in all my essence and all my lady and boy parts, because
yeah,
I may
illusion.
want to use my boy parts on you to win you over
Oh.
and have my way with you.
Won't he do it?
Damn. And on that
So what
note,
can we do about the trans mothers? What advice
how can we resolve this?
I know.
Everybody needs to carry a hammer now.
Everybody. Are you zoom it in, honey? Okay.
They might, and maybe Amazon may have some.
Let me tell you
custom-made
something.
With glitter.
And I'm not even
So we
saying
condoning violence?
absolutely.
We're condoning self-defense.
Actually.
Self-defense, yes, absolutely.
Self-defense.
Absolutely.
But also, stop pulling pussy stunts. It's not cute. A lot of you, by doing this, are provoking these men to do and act the way. And I'm not saying that I condone it, but I'm just saying you have to be prepared for your pussy stunt. You
outcome.
have to know.
No,
You have to accept the consequences of that. What that's gonna get you.
To me, that's a difference between someone just randomly bashing your ass.
No, if they're randomly bashing
I don't know you. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever happens is, we are dating or whatever the case may be. And then sidebar to that, these girls that are pulling these pussy stunts are not even real.
Some of them, yeah.
not to be shady like that. Like that Tyra and that case with Tyra.
I'm talking about the girls that were being killed and so on and so forth. I'm talking about the people. When you see these pictures, you be like, okay,
How
it's
stupid and blind are you?
It's no shade to her.
Yeah.
But sir, how did you not know? And I'm not coming for her.
So
I'm just
who
saying.
was this?
I'm talking about
Just in
The
general.
one that was
In general.
dating the football player.
Oh.
No, yes, that one I was just like, I even told my
Rest in
boyfriend, I was
peace.
like, no, like.
But it was proven that he knew her tea.
no, but how are you gonna say that you didn't know?
The fucked up thing is that he may have known her tea, but he can get away in the legal system and said she tricked me. And
it doesn't matter. That's not illegal.
But they actually had his.
But it's not illegal. It's not
They're
illegal to
kids.
trick a
I
bastard.
don't
It's
know.
not illegal.
Oh.
You can't go to jail for tricking a bitch.
Yeah.
As I was saying, wait, bring it back.
But you better be willing to accept the consequences of tricking a bitch. Just saying.
Let me tell you something. Get your hammer. Let me tell you why. Because when you pull this shit out randomly, because I pulled it out one good time. When you pull this shit out randomly, they're gonna be like, this bitch is crazy. And I'm okay with you thinking I'm crazy. I'm okay with the world thinking I'm crazy. That's right, I'm crazy. And if you think you're gonna touch me, or even this, like that, bitch, I'm beating your head in. I'm not gonna stop because I'm not dying that way. I'd rather go to jail and spend my time there versus be dead.
Dying because you felt like you.
Because you felt some type of way. Because we live in a really big world. This is New York. We live in a really big world where if you don't like the way I look, you can just walk past me. You don't have to say anything to me. I'm just saying, I'm not waiting for it to happen. I'm just ready.
But also, I just want to say,
I'm just ready.
I just want to, if you're gonna carry a weapon and you're gonna, cash it out with somebody, just make sure that you can do it. If not, freaking.
And you know how to swing.
Yeah, and you know how to swing. Make sure you know how to fight, because if you have a weapon and they're gonna stand their ground as well, you better be ready because they can use that weapon against you.
Wait, I have one more thing to say, and I'm done with the topic. Bash his ass and get the fuck out of there.
Bash and
And on
dash.
that note, this
Girls, be
concludes-
safe, okay?
Be
That's what
safe
we're
out
trying to
there.
say.
Bash and dash.
This
Follow my
concludes-
channel too.
Bash and
This
dash.
And don't think that you're too real to anything to happen to you, because even the realest girls
That's right.
get caught up out
Bash and
there.
dash.
So
This
Also, if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on my channel. I'm going to actually give them the link to my channel, and they're going to link it down on the description box below. Thank you.
right there.
and
Mine
Facebook, Ashley Breathe.
YouTube / Milan Zanati. I barely have any followers, so you guys
Instagram. My Instagram is as told by Sophie.
And Jaisha, you have a little vlog too, don't you?
Well, see, I haven't posted mine. I just only posted them on Facebook. I don't know what to do.
Oh, okay.
So, Jaisha,
Look for
kindly-
her on Facebook
On
or
Facebook.
befriend her.
Because okay, I'll say this later.
So, in that conclusion, we like to thank you for joining us. And as Milan likes to say at the end of every episode, don't try it.
bitch. I'm just playing.
Oh wait, I missed that completely. Wow.
I'm a lady just like you.
I'm not your average girl. It is tea time with the girls.
Fashion city up a notch.